signed as a free agent. And I know a lot of you guys had scouting questions. I want to leave that to the end because I definitely want to get Denny involved. So anything scouting related, I would definitely like to hold on that to the end. But very good opportunity that developed a skill set that I didn't have before that I've really enjoyed doing. And now here we are here. My first year here with the Power was 2016. I worked under Harry Gurley, who was the manager there for 8 previous seasons. As I said before, he's the only guy in the 15-year history of the Power that's had his number retired. After 2016, I was named manager of the team. In 2017, as my first year as manager, I personally won my 400th career game. The organization won their 500th career game. We broke 11 franchise records. This is Ryan Moda. He hit more home runs last summer than any other Power team combined in any other previous year. So he's officially the home run king of Palm Springs. We won the championship that year, and now here we remain. So for the rest of the speech, I want to talk about what the Power has meant to this community and what it's meant to me, because every place that I've gone, I've had personal success, but I've had no support from an organization. I haven't been under good circumstances or a comfortable situation to where it was something that I wanted to continue to be a part of, or even I had no option, right? I get fired or whatever else. And this is the first job that I've had where the organization, it's one of the best organizations in baseball. There's a reason they've done it for 15 years. There's a reason that they've had the success they've had. They were successful long before I got here. You know what I mean? But working for an organization that does everything the right way, does everything that they're supposed to, is so refreshing, and it makes my job that much easier. So with that being said, I actually want to invite up here with me to help me talk about the Power and some of the other things that we do here in the community, the owner of the Palm Springs Power and the California Winter League, Andrew Starke.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Is anybody tired after listening to that? I mean, I'm wore out. I knew half those stories, and I'm still, kind of out of breath. Casey, I mean, you've been through a lot.
Just happy to be here.
You wait till this summer. I got some fun stuff in store for you. No, but the biggest thing I will say after what Casey said is the success of our organization over the last 14 plus years is the people. It's Harry Gurley and the years that he managed. It's last year Casey leading our team. It's Steve Frieri making it the most welcoming environment here in the Coachella Valley. It's our friends like Denny Henderson and all the other scouts and college coaches throughout the United States that have sent us quality young men, players, and people to be a part of our organization. There's no one person, no one player that's done everything or more than anybody else. It's a group effort, and it's a culmination of everybody involved. And being able to be a part of it for 15 years, it's certainly been a blessing for me. When I moved out here, I was 23. I was green behind the ears. I've learned so much through the School of Hard Knocks of being out here. I feel I've gotten a master's degree in business being out here, and I oftentimes have interns and staff that will come to me and say, owning a business, that sounds great. I want to own a business. I want to run my own organization. I say, okay, well, there's a test you must pass if you want to own your own business. And if you pass this test, great. Go hell-bent for election, go for it, and knock it out of the ballpark. But the first thing you must do is you must find a very, very hard surface. And you must bang your head on it very, very hard for 10 seconds. And if after 10 seconds you feel it's still a very good idea to run your own business, go for it, because then you'll be able to succeed. Because that's what you're doing. We're putting out fires. When Harry managed the team, he used to walk in my office every single day and go, all right, fireman, what are we putting out today? I'm like, you don't even want to know. I mean, this, that, the other, doesn't matter, but it's solved and we're going forward. With Casey, he and I are like dance partners. We have a very good idea of what each other wants to accomplish, and it's a different relationship between when Harry was the manager and when Casey's the manager. There are things that I loved about Harry, there's things I love about Casey, and sometimes there's things where I just bite my lip and just sit back and watch the winds roll in, because it might not have been the way I would have done it, but by God, they got the job done. So I've been very lucky to be surrounded by great people, and this organization, it's my first baby. I've got 3 children, a beautiful wife, But the Palm Springs Power is my first baby, and people probably thought I was a little crazy when I started a baseball team in Palm Springs in the summertime. But 15 years later, I'm still here, and I'm happy to have been a big part of it. So, I'm also proud, as Casey said, our 506th win. He got 400 as a career manager, but 506 I'm very proud of. And where Casey says it was our most successful season, the man in the red shirt might say that our 2013 club that went 46-5 might have been our most successful season. Percentage-wise, Mr. Dill gets the award. However, that's an argument that can go on for years and years and years, and there's no way to tell it, so I'm the only one who saw both teams. I guess Harry saw both teams, but I saw both of them pretty close, either way. So where do you want to go from here, Casey? What do we want to share with these fine people?
I think let's talk about the success of the players we've had getting drafted by major league organizations. Andrew and I were sitting in his office one day, and he says, Casey, I wonder how the best college conference in the country, I wonder how many people per year they get drafted. Because at the Power, we get about 7 guys drafted per year. That's on average, so that varies year to year. So I do the research and I go, hey, Andrew, the #1 college conference in the country, they get about 6 guys drafted per year. So when you come out to a Power game, you're watching about 7 guys roughly, and it varies year from year, guys that are going to get drafted by major league organizations. So in the organization's 15-year career, I worked on getting an exact number, and I was counting them today and trying to follow up the guys that got drafted last year, where they're at, and it became so time-consuming, but I definitely got to the point where it's at least over 110 players drafted by major league organizations. A big part of that is Andrew's a big part of the recruiting, and he even made the joke, and I went along with it. He's like, well, I guess I'm about as good as the best Division I recruiting coordinators in the country, and I said, absolutely you are, absolutely. Who were some of your favorite players that came through the organization, Andrew? Guys that got drafted and that you followed throughout their careers?
Well, I will say that the player that's my favorite isn't on that list. It was a young man named P.J. Jimenez from Yucaipa. I went to his wedding. If I had a little sister, I would let her marry him, but his wife is a fine woman. I would let him babysit my children. He was just a quality human being that I want to represent me and my organization, and I told him, if there's ever a day that you need a job, find me. I will find a job for you working for me. But on this list, where is that list? There was another page that had a list, or at some point. The slide had the list, now the slide doesn't.
Yes, correct.
Well, you can start with our closer from 2006, Brian Shaw. He was 19-year-old, maybe he was only 18 when he came out. He was a young graduate of high school, and he went to Long Beach State. Now, when you talk about fireballers, he was a fireballer. 18-year-old kid throwing 96 miles an hour. The funny thing about him is he bribed kids with autographed baseballs in the bullpen to go get him hot dogs. Now, he gave up 0 earned runs all season long, and when he came in, his nickname was Brian Lights Out Shaw. He didn't give up any runs, so we just kind of looked the other way. He ended up being a 2nd-round draft pick by the Arizona Diamondbacks and made it to the major leagues with the Diamondbacks. I think he went then to Colorado, then Cleveland, pitched in the World Series with Cleveland, probably most famous for being the pitcher. If anybody remembers the World Series 2 years ago, I see 2 gentlemen in the 3rd row that probably do remember Game 7. There was a rain delay between the 9th and 10th innings, or 8th and 9th innings. He was the pitcher who was in there, and then they had the rain delay. Most managers pull their pitcher, go to a new fresh arm. No, they stayed with Brian Shaw. He led the major leagues in appearances that year, and he went back out there the next inning, and a fine ball player by the name of Ben Zobrist got a pretty big hit that led the Chicago Cubs and gave Denny that beautiful ring on his finger over there. So I'm not saying I was rooting for one over the other, but he pitched in the major leagues, he pitched in the World Series. That's as successful as it can get. But we've had several guys get to that point, and there's lots of stories.
Yeah, here's some guys just to give you guys an idea of where some of our guys are coming from. I chose 6 guys that played on our team last year. Skylar Hunter was actually Freshman of the Year for Purdue University in their conference. Hit well over 300 for him. There was a point last year where I was joking with him. He was sitting out that night. It was a routine night to sit out, and I said, hey, Skyler, he was hitting about 395, and I said, you got to hit 400 to hit in this lineup. And he never hit below 400 the rest of the year, and he stayed in the lineup the rest of the year. The next player, John Malvin, he played for the team 2 years. Probably has some of the best tools, running, throwing, hitting for power, of anybody that I've ever seen. Jacob Rebar, University of Utah, you could roughly say he was our number 1 or number 2 last year, but big left-handed pitcher who had a lot of movement on his fastball. He had so much movement, our catchers did not like catching him because they didn't know how much or which way the ball was going to move. Taylor Grace, Michigan State, he actually also played in our California Winter League this year and got signed to play professional baseball. Kyle Brown, Long Beach State, he played in our California Winter League as well. Got an opportunity to go play for the Southern Illinois Miners, who I work for, and Ryan Moda, the home run king. Hopefully we're going to be getting him back next year because he can hit the ball over 500 feet. It's fun to watch, but he's currently at Cal Baptist University.
So some of these other photos here are everything from game night action, where you see a misting system, and the bottom center photo, that just kind of lets you know that, hey, we have a misting system where it is 100 plus degrees outside. All of our games are at nighttime. They're all at 7 o'clock, and not in Indio, the sun might not set till about 7:30. In Palm Springs, we're so close to the mountain, the sun is behind the mountain by 7 o'clock. At game time, we have 150 foot by 10 foot sunshade. That doesn't mean that the temperature has dropped a ton, but under the single largest misting system in the entire state of California, which is at Palm Springs Stadium, it is an easy 10 degrees cooler there. 120 is 120, we all know that, but the average temperature in the summer, according to the Weather Channel, is 108 degrees. 108 degrees in the afternoon drops the temperature in the evenings, and in Palm Springs, we have these big monstrosity of white things out near the freeway called windmills. They're there for a reason because we get a lot of breeze and a lot of wind, and so you mix the largest misting system in the entire state of California with some wind, it can make for a very pleasant evening. But then beauty's in the eye of the beholder. We've got host families down on the left, and with our host family program, we've never had players borrowing vehicles from our host families. We've never asked our host families to provide our players with money. All of our players and interns that come out and stay with us and play for us and work with us in the summertime have their own money, have their own transportation, and all they're looking for is a guest room, a guest casita, an opportunity to stay in a house for 7 weeks, ask you to come out, watch a game, support them, support the organization. We look at all of our host families as extended family to us. We have host families from Monroe Street in Indio all the way out to Desert Hot Springs. I even talked to a lady about being a host family who lives in Sky Valley. Wasn't quite sure where Sky Valley is, but it's a little behind Desert Hot Springs. But we have a lot of kids, we have seniors, we have all kinds of host families. Single adults, single ladies, gay, straight, couples, doesn't matter. We're just looking for a clean, safe environment that a good, hardworking young adult can come out and stay with for a few weeks. We have promotional nights, top right corner. We have our first responders night. I think all of us in the room and anyone in the country can say, hey, you know what, first responders certainly do help us in times of need, so we recognize them and they provide more information to our community. We had the police and fire chief throw out a first pitch. Our players go to all kinds of events. They go to Boys and Girls Club. They play wiffle ball and kickball with them. They go to senior centers and play bingo. They go to schools and participate in different school activities. They go to libraries and read, all kinds of stuff. So we try and have as much community involvement as we possibly can. And then the one on the far left is we are the only organization or group of people that go to every single youth baseball league opening day in the entire valley. Mr. Frieri, he helps us. He comes out, volunteers his time to go with our mascot, go with myself, go with our marketing director, Alex, to pass out free tickets to kids to come to our games, give out our schedules, and just have involvement, whether it's at a Run for Ike, the Palm Springs police officer who was shot in the line of duty. It was a police K-9, and it's a supportive run for fundraising, or it's something else that we have going on. And then from a business standpoint, for those, a show of hands, how many people have ever been to a power game? Awesome. So those that have know that, hey, some nights we have a great crowd, other nights we have an average crowd at best. It depends on the weather, depends on the night, and having this almost 6,000 seat stadium, filling that up to capacity happens on July 4th, and that's about it. So even when we put 600 plus fans in the stadium on a Wednesday night, it's still only 10% full. We do group outings. June 1st, we're doing the company picnic for Eisenhower Medical Center. 700 plus people, group outing, barbecue, all that, fireworks show. So if you don't have plans for Friday night, June the 1st, come out to the ballpark. Fireworks show. If you've got kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, neighbors, anybody that wants to come out, see a ball game. Game starts at 6:30. That night, the game will start a little bit earlier because we are doing the fireworks show after the game. But our group outings, we set it up like any minor league team all across the country. We used to have a stadium that was built in 1960 and has had limited remodeling since 1960.
4th of July.
Pictures worth 1,000 words. People, game, fireworks, people come out onto the field. We do well over 7,000 fans on July 4th, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate our Independence Day than with beer, baseball, and fireworks. And in whatever order you want. I just put it in my order.
A little bit about our collegiate league. So this is going to be our first year with the collegiate league. We're essentially creating a minor league system for our Palm Springs Power. We get guys from a lot of small schools, like I said earlier, NAIA schools, junior colleges, Division III schools, and we're actually getting a lot of players from Canada who want to enjoy California for the first time. And they will see how hot it is when they get there, but we're going to teach them how to adapt. And the whole point of this league is developmental. With the Power, Harry did before me, and I do now. We'll put the same 9 guys out there every night if they're going to win. Our job is to win every night. And with this team, it's more about develop. We want to get lower level guys who need experience. Maybe they're redshirt freshmen. Maybe they were injured. Maybe they were playing behind an upperclassman who was all league. So the whole point behind this is to offer a lower level player an opportunity to play and develop. And this is the first year that we've done that. Andrew and I have been developing it since August, and we have been able to get 6 teams that we've recruited ourselves from schools from all over the country and even Canada to participate in the league. So very excited about that happening this summer.
And the California Winter League. To this point, it's the biggest part of our business from a financial standpoint. I assume many of you had very strong financial backgrounds prior to today, and maybe even today. This league, it is a pay-to-participate league for the players. They are free agents when they come out. We do not put the players with host families. All the players are paying for their opportunity and experience. One, they pay for lodging. We house them in Palm Springs from the middle of January to the middle of February for a full month. That's not free to put them up in downtown Palm Springs in a timeshare. We feed them on a daily basis, 2 meals a day. We provide transportation for them, and all the managers and coaches that work our league have the ability to sign players to professional contracts, whether it be Casey, who is a scouting director or director of player procurement for the Southern Illinois Miners, or it be any manager for an independent professional team, or it be someone like Denny Henderson, who'd come out and participated with us, as he was a professional scout for the Chicago Cubs. Guys like Denny have the juice to see a player, make one phone call, and then sign the player to a contract if they see the right player. We don't bribe any coach to sign any player. We tell them if you see a player that you think can compete for an opportunity with your organization, offer them a chance to go to spring training. If they're not able to do that, look for another player. We've had as many as 300 players participate in our Winter League with 14 teams playing up to 5 games a day, 7 days a week for 28 straight days. We've utilized 3 fields plus a high school JV field for workouts, and we run that all through Palm Springs Stadium. Our clubhouse, our home side clubhouse, looks like an assembly line of players coming through, clubbies doing laundry, hanging up new clean clothes. and passing out bats, equipment, training room. There's a line out the door to the training room for players to get in and out of there. But again, like I said at the very beginning, it's all about the people. It's the trainers, it's the clubbies, it's the managers, the instructors, the coaches, the staff that works the stadium, the concession staff that they have to do a catered meal 7 days a week for 350 people. Now, we're not the Renaissance Esmeralda. We don't have those executive chefs and all the beautiful, culinary availability of equipment. We're doing this out of Palm Springs Stadium that was built in 1960. So we utilize classic party rentals for a lot of different things, and we have the single largest instructional showcase winter league in the country. We've contracted with the Frontier League, which is an independent professional league, a very well-respected one, that those teams have $20 million stadiums. Multi-millionaires own those franchises, and those individual teams take a minimum of 2 players per team from our winter league every single year. So these are just a few of the players and photos from our winter league.
Yeah, I think we're just about up on our time. We were just about at the hour, but before we're done here, we're going to bring up our Director of Community Relations, Steve Ferreri. We actually have some raffle prizes. Right, Steve? All right, let's do it.